Hello YouTubers, Tross here. I'm back playing some more Infinifactory, and I'm just going to make a short little video here showing off some of the interesting solutions I found for the first series of levels and puzzles in Infinifactory. So let's get to that. It took me quite a while, but I found this solution for the first puzzle, Training Routine 1. It's 44 cycles and a 41 footprint. I know TH Pion has been putting out some videos with minimal footprint with just the basic blocks, and I believe he got a 42 here. So this is one smaller, and the difference between this solution and his is I go over this output to bring this block, where I believe he turns and comes across one block earlier. This output counts as a used footprint, so by going over it, we basically save the one block that he had here. He had blocks here, I just have them one block lower, but he had an additional block here that is saved because this position is already being counted because it's the output. He does advocate using tricks like this, going under the input, because this also counts, but going over the outputs also is similar to going under the inputs. It saves you a space. So let's just run this. And you can see it works. Takes a little bit of time. There we go. I have a few other solutions I'm going to show off real quick. This obviously is not a efficient solution, but I found this, or I played around and built this because it builds itself. I'm going to hit run here. And you can see the conveyor belts lay themselves out. Now, this is not an efficient solution in terms of cycles or footprint, but I just thought it was neat how it built itself. Finally, I have one other solution which is really not efficient, but I like to call this the minimal blocks. This is the fewest number of blocks that I could figure out to place down that would complete the solution. This is going to take a real long time, so I'm probably gonna hit fast forward at some point, but you can see the blocks are building out kind of their own path and pushing each other along. Obviously this group is going to be completed way before the others. I'm just gonna hold fast forward at this point. These kind of build a bridge, while these make a long path. At this point, they're making a thin path, and they're done. So that was the interesting solutions that I found for the first puzzle. The second puzzle, well, what was this solution? Oh, this is my first attempt. This is kind of the obvious. Yes, that message. Obviously, this works, but it's not the most efficient or most. Well, it's most efficient in terms of cycles that I know of, I believe. But it's not that efficient in terms of space. What was... Oh. This was another one of my minimal blocks being placed. You can see it's just a few blocks. And similarly, it builds out its own paths. And completes the puzzle that way. This is the minimal, or a possible minimal solution. Actually, it's probably the only, well, it's probably the only one. The welders don't use up any extra space, and we basically only move these one block once they're together so they don't sweep out a wide path. On to some more complex puzzles. Training routine 3. This was my initial attempt, and most people come up with something similar to this. I eventually figured out how to get a small footprint by having the welders connected to the output area. You can get a small footprint. I know THPion has a solution that is faster than 74 using only the basic blocks, using a technique of having welders on conveyors that get moved around. I did not figure something like that out. What I did do here is used some future blocks, blocks you get in the next section, and this I think is just about the fastest you can do, unless there's some crazy blocks even further in the game. I'm a little more than halfway. So I have one sensor all the way down here at the end and a bunch of pusher blocks and then welders. So on max input rate, the blocks come in very quickly, then get pushed and welded in groups of 3 immediately, and then drop down. Then I have these conveyors that are arranged in a specific format so that they can get the groups of 3 into the output area as quickly as possible. I actually had done this arrangement 2 or 3 different times, and I finally got one that was 1 cycle shorter. So let's play this one. You see they come in at max speed, and everybody gets pushed in, and it only takes 2 cycles here, and we are done. Yeah, there were specifically 5 groups of 3 blocks, so 15 whole blocks get pushed out before the sensor gets activated, so it only takes 2 cycles. Now, it's a big footprint, but maybe you could squeeze 1 more cycle off of it, but I really don't see how. Then we come to training routine 4. Let's see here. This was my initial solution. Well, this was a refinement of my initial solution. So, they don't stack up right at the beginning, but we use the 2 blocks to make a path. But I'm able to get a lower footprint in another puzzle, or another solution. Here's the 12 footprint solution that I came up with. And It's basically the same, except now we've moved these welders from back here underneath that location. So again, the first two blocks will be used to make the path or belt or whatever you want to call it. It does take longer to get the first block out that way, but it prevents having to do all sorts of waiting or something like that. I did not attempt to get a low cycle with just the basic blocks on this one, but I did get a low cycle solution using pusher blocks as well. Obviously it's much bigger footprint, and here it is. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 welders, and we basically get 10, 10. These get pushed off and fall. They trigger this sensor, which pushes these blocks out at the right time. They all fall and weld, and then they all get collected up. So let's run this. Here comes the second group, but we're not even gonna get that far because all of these are gonna get sucked in before the second group can even come by, and we are done. Okay, and this is going to be the last puzzle I do in this video. Training Routine 5. I have a few different solutions here. I think none of these are my original solution. This is close to my original solution. Let's run this. We have a buffer here to wait for the blocks. I probably could take one away, or I'm not sure why I let that one block fall. But that was one of my earlier attempts. For faster, I got this 59 cycle one. Basically, the two blocks come down, get welded together, go on a slight delay while we're waiting these blocks to come in, but then it's just weld and go. I forgot to check. This is on a +5 input rate. And this is a longer solution, takes 70 cycles. But I think this is the minimal footprint. This is a 44 footprint, which I believe is even less than the solution that TH Pion has. And basically, I move this over, do a little bit of delay with these two blocks so they line up. I weld them here, and then I move them to the end. And I have this block come all the way over and then drop down. So basically, we have everything in a solid line here, except for these last two positions where we have to do the weld. There's actually a bit of a delay because the pair of blocks that come this way actually get stuck up here until another pair comes and bumps them. There's just enough room for that to happen. So let's see how this goes. You can see we get those blocks in the right order down here. And then push them and weld them right at the end. And there's a conveyor belt here, which is what... Let's play that again. Pushes them in finally. So we get those two welded together. And then we get these welded together. So that's all the puzzles in the Proving Grounds. Probably in a week or so, I will come back and do another video of my solutions for the next level. They're not quite as highly optimized. I'm gonna probably go back and do another pass through them, see if I can improve them any. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, leave a comment. You know, suggestions on this video. What do you think? And I'll see you guys next time. And till then, remember to eat your food pellets. Thanks for watching. Those taste better than the red ones.